For almost 200 years, we've thought of Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights as, one of the greatest love stories ever. But what if it's not? What if we've completely missed the point this whole time? Well, we're going to get into it because this old book is somehow at the heart of a huge, very modern debate.
And it really all kicks off right here. There's a new movie version coming out, and the internet is, well, it's losing its mind. This one comment, which, by the way, got over 50,000 likes, it just nails the whole feeling of outrage. People are basically saying the filmmakers are gutting the book of everything important just to sell us some kind of steamy, simple romance. So, yeah, 50 Shades of Heathcliff? That's quite a label. This whole controversy really comes down to two big things: who they cast and how they're selling it. And all of that makes you step back and ask a much bigger question. What is this story actually about?
Okay, so this really gets to the heart of it. In the book, right, Heathcliff's ethnicity is a mystery. But one thing is crystal clear: he is not white. He's called a dark-skinned gypsy, and people are constantly guessing where he's from. Is he the Emperor of China's son or from India? And this is so important to who he is. It's why he's such an outsider. But in this new movie, they've cast a white actor, Jacob Elordi. And yeah, critics are definitely calling that whitewashing.
And look, it's not just about one casting choice. The whole whitewashing argument is that by doing this, the movie completely ignores the intense racial abuse Heathcliff goes through in the book. Then you add in the marketing, which feels like it's trying to turn this into some kind of book talk dark romance, and you can see why people are worried. They feel like this deep, complicated story about class and cruelty is just being flattened. And apparently people who've seen early screenings are feeling it too. They're calling it aggressively provocative.
Okay, but to really get why everyone's so upset, you have to understand the myth that's been built around this book. I mean, for decades, Wuthering Heights has been sold to us as the epic, passionate, doomed love story. So why? Why do we see it that way? Well, honestly, the book itself gives us a lot of reasons.
You've probably heard this line before, even if you haven't read the book. It's maybe the most famous quote of all. Catherine Earnshaw says this, and just think about that. He's not just the guy she loves, he is literally her. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. I mean, that's basically the definition of a soulmate, right? It's lines like this that built the whole romance myth. And it's not one-sided. Heathcliff says the exact same thing, just from his perspective. After Catherine dies, he is completely destroyed. I cannot live without my life. I cannot live without my soul. For him, she was his soul. You can see why this feels like an epic tragedy. It's so powerful, so poetic, and it's no wonder that's what most movies have focused on for years. All right, so we've got the myth, right? The big romance. Now let's talk about the reality. Because there's this whole other way of reading the book, and a lot of people are saying it's not about love at all. They say it's about something way darker. It's about revenge. And that's the big question, isn't it? Is this even a love story? Seriously, if you stop trying to find the romantic hero in Heathcliff, what are you left with? What do you actually see?
You see this, the Gothic villain. So forget the idea of a misunderstood romantic hero who just needs a little love. This type of character is all about cruelty. His motivation isn't passion or love, it's a cold, obsessive need to get revenge on everyone who wronged him. And if you look at Heathcliff through that lens, everything changes.
And that really is the key to this whole counter-argument. The idea is that Emily Brontë wasn't actually trying to write a great romance. She was doing the opposite. She was taking all those popular romantic ideas from her time, the dark, brooding hero, and she was ripping them to shreds to show how ugly and destructive that kind of passion can actually be.
So if that's the theory, that Brontë was deconstructing romance, where's the evidence? Well, it turns out the clues have been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Let's go back to that super famous line, okay? The one about their souls being the same. It sounds like the most romantic thing ever said. But with this book, context is everything.
And here it is, the part everyone leaves out. Right before she says that beautiful line, Catherine tells her housekeeper that heaven would be a miserable place for her. Think about that. She's saying she and Heathcliff belong together, not because they're good, but because they're both kind of twisted. Their bond isn't pure, it's built on a shared darkness. It's a suicide pact, not a love story.
The writer Joyce Carol Oates has this amazing take. She says that the character Isabella Linton is basically us. She's the reader. Isabella buys into the fantasy, she thinks Heathcliff is this romantic hero, and what happens? He absolutely destroys her. Oates argues that's a direct warning from Brontë to us, telling us not to be so naive. We're waiting for him to be redeemed just like Isabella was, and it's never going to happen.
I mean, just look at his actions, all laid out. These aren't the acts of a passionate, heartbroken guy. This is a cold, calculated plan for revenge that spans generations. First, he gets Heinleigh hooked on alcohol to steal his house. Then he turns Heinleigh's own son into an illiterate servant. He tricks Isabella into a miserable marriage just to get at her family. And he even forces his own dying son to marry young Catherine just so he can get his hands on the other family estate. This isn't passion. This is the work of a stone-cold sociopath.
And if you have any doubt left about who this guy is, just listen to what he says himself. He's not misunderstood. He's a sadist, and he admits it. He says he enjoys crushing people, that the more pain they're in, the more he wants to hurt them. That is the literal definition of a villain. There's no romance there.
So here we are, two totally opposite ways to read the exact same book. Is it an epic romance, or is it a horrifying story of revenge? How is it possible that after almost 200 years we still can't agree? Well, the answer is what makes this book so powerful. What if the answer is neither? Or more accurately, what if the genius of the book is that it's both at the same time? The reason it's so powerful, the reason we still argue about it, is because it lives right on that blurry, terrifying line where love turns into obsession and obsession turns into pure destruction. It's designed to make us uncomfortable, and it never lets up.
And this is why this whole argument is so incredibly relevant right now. Think about it. The idea of romanticizing a dangerous, controlling guy because he had a tough childhood, that didn't stop with Heathcliff. Critics today draw a straight line from him to characters in massive hits like Twilight and 50 Shades. You know, stories where really obsessive, kind of scary behavior is sold to us as true love. We're still having the exact same conversation.
You know what's wild, though? It's almost like Emily Brontë knew we would fall for it. Because Heathcliff himself warns Isabella, and by extension, he's warning us, the reader. He literally tells her not to make up some fabulous notion of who he is. It's an incredible moment where it feels like the author is breaking the fourth wall to say, hey, stop romanticizing this guy. Which leaves us with one final big question. The fact that we're still fighting over this book and this new movie shows that it hits a nerve. So why? Why are we so fascinated by stories that mix up passionate love with total destruction? What is it about a love that's so powerful it just burns everything down that we find so compelling? And that, right there, is the dark, unsettling genius of Wuthering Heights.